Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. 5:47 a.m., Sunday, September the 7th. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm having a wonderful weekend. I'd like to thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'm over 36,000 now, so onward towards 37,000. Love to get to 50. I hope to do that maybe by Christmas. That'd be wonderful. If you haven't subscribed, please click on subscribe, and I will tip my big blue mug to you. It's an interesting morning. I got up today, and honestly, there's things to talk about, but it's not a really big news day today. It is the weekend after all, and I think it's good news when there's not a lot of doom and gloom to talk about. I want to try to get the temperature of the left this morning. The last couple of days have been interesting. I did a video the other day. I talked about Mark Carney's speech, which I called, I think, the bleakest speech I've ever heard, or the gloomiest speech I've ever heard from a Canadian Prime Minister. I call it the end of Canada speech. I'd like to thank Derek over at Unacceptable Fringe. He mentioned my video, watched my video. We're on the same page here. Derek is calling it, I think, managed decline or words to that effect, which I agree with 100% right now. That's where Canada is right now. It's managed decline. And Carney the other day in his speech was warning of terrible things that are coming because of the Liberals and their failures. But it is managed decline. I often think of a saying I've heard. It happens slowly and then all at once. Okay, so you move along slowly, you hit the cliff, and then you drop off the cliff. I was wondering about that this morning. As you know, I'm a person of quotes, and it's actually Hemingway. It's not exactly the same, but it comes from The Sun Also Rises. Here is the quote: "How did you go bankrupt? Two ways, gradually and then suddenly." And I think that's where Canada is right now. But where is the left? I watched his speech the other day, and I just thought, my God, it's all over, folks. He has admitted absolute defeat and that he is a failure to this country. That's what I heard. But did the left hear the same thing the other day? Because a lot of people are commenting on how great Mark Carney is. I don't know that X is a perfect way to gauge what the left wing is all about and Liberal supporters are about in this country. I think the keyboard warriors will never admit that they've made a mistake. But the people who aren't always following the news, who aren't always following social media, who aren't on X, who are in the background, have no problem with admitting they've made a mistake. And I think they're getting to the point where they realize they regret voting for the Liberals because things are not getting better in this country. What happens generally when I go over to X in the morning is I find it fascinating. If I watch a YouTube video on a specific subject, and I watch a couple of them, I start getting inundated with a lot of similar YouTube videos. If I'm following specific people on X, you would think that would happen to me. I would be recommended a lot of people who have my belief when it comes to politics, but that doesn't happen. I open up X every morning and I get inundated with the inanities of people on the left. So let's take a look at how they're feeling about the country right now. Are they getting the same message that I'm getting from what I'm seeing with the Canadian government and what I'm hearing from the Prime Minister of Canada and his party? So you got this guy, Coffee Time News. Canadians need to continue doing the same. Buy Canadian, support Canadian small businesses. Let's make Canada self-reliant. We are the masters of our domain. Now, in his End of Canada speech the other day, Carney went on and on about how we can strengthen our country and we don't have to rely on the United States so much because we can buy Canadian. But folks, 3/4 of everything we do in this country is based on exports. We are an exporting nation. And if we're not exporting to the United States of America and don't have them as our biggest customer, the country will fail. But people like this guy from Coffee Time News don't get it. Here's Mark Carney pushing his buy Canadian to build Canadian. Not really Gail. Listen to Mark Carney speak. There's no mystery about why Canadians chose him instead of Poilievre. You aren't listening to what Mark Carney is telling you. You're not hearing what he's saying. You're not getting the message that I'm getting. Not really Gail. Mark Carney is warning you that hard times are coming and he's failed. That's what I saw the other day. This is the end of the country of Canada. As Derek said the other day, maybe I should copyright it, but Canada's demise means Alberta's rise. Canada needs more Wab Canoe. Let's get rid of the Smiths and Fords and PPs and get more First Nations leadership in positions of power. Please, for the love of Canada, the environment, the sanity of the country. And he said, I visited Hollow Water after the tragedy and found strength. Around the fire, we shared food, laughter, prayers, and tears. Okay, so Hollow Water, there was a stabbing the other day. I believe one person dead, 6 or 7 other people were injured. Now, as far as Aboriginal people go in this country, I think Wab Kinew is failing his people. I think politicians are failing their people. I think the Canadian government failing the Aboriginal people in this country. And to the Aboriginal people who are watching right now, I actually ran the numbers not very long ago. I believe Canada now gives $32 to $36 billion a year to Aboriginal people in this country. It's gone up by about $12 billion since 2015 when the Liberals got in, but nothing ever gets better. It's like so many things that the Liberals do and promise, they never get better. They tell you we have to carbon tax the country into oblivion to stop global warming and climate change, but things just keep getting worse. They keep giving more money to Aboriginal groups and things do not get better. So if you're an Aboriginal person in this country, I want to just pass along a message to you. Are you being let down by your leaders? Because if you just took the money that Canadians give Aboriginals in this country, $32 to $36 billion a year, and divide it by the number of Aboriginal people, and you just cut a check on a yearly basis for everybody in your family, you would benefit by about $30,000 for every person in your family every year. You'd be far better off just throwing people like Wab Kinew and kicking them to the curb. And Wab Kinew is no friend to Alberta. We have nothing in common with this man. He's blocking pipelines going out to the east. True North Eager Beaver Media. Are we supposed to be trying to diversify our trade away from the United States? As always, she's not a team player, referring to Sean Amato, Alberta's premier, off to Denver to advance Alberta as an energy partner, promoting collaboration and reinforce Alberta's role in North American energy security. So it's people like this who called Danielle Smith a traitor. Danielle Smith doing her job. She's the only person that has done anything regarding tariffs since the beginning of this. She's the only person with the sense to try to work out the tariff problem with the United States of America. There is no Team Canada, pal. There is no team. You have to have a common goal. Does Danielle Smith have anything in common with the aforementioned Wab Kinew? Does she have anything in common with David Eby? Does she have anything in common with Legault in Quebec? I'm thinking she has less in common with Doug Ford, who's a good friend of Mark Carney. We don't have anything in common. We don't have a common goal with your so-called Team Canada. Well done, Premier Danielle Smith. This is her job, pal. Your country's failing. The Poilievre Harper government massively expanded temporary foreign workers program upon taking office in 2006. By 2014, they had taken in 500,000 TFWs. Poilievre always blaming Liberals for everything he did. Ladies and gentlemen, things change. Does anybody remember us having a housing issue in 2014 because of temporary foreign workers? No, we do now. Because we bring in too many people. Our immigration is far too high. Poilievre says negative immigration. I tend to agree. Okay? And as far as temporary foreign workers, we've got an unemployment rate for young people at 14.6% right now. And a lot of those jobs are being taken by temporary foreign workers. This program needs to be massively cut back. But these people don't realize things change. People like Pierre Poilievre see the change and they adapt to it. The Liberal Party does not. And then they scream racism because people like myself and Poilievre think we need to have less immigrants coming to this country. Warren Kinsella, nobody is praying for an election soon. Literally nobody. And Warren Kinsella is absolutely right. People say we need another election soon. Ain't going to happen, unfortunately. My take, the CPC wanted to get rid of the paper boy as soon as he lost his seat. CPC afraid of internal backlash, and the paper boy wouldn't leave easy. The January 6th leadership review is required after a loss, and it's their chance to force the paper boy's resignation quietly. Am I missing something? What does he mean by paper boy? I don't understand what that means. I think Poilievre will do fine on January 26th. It's eventually going to dawn on people they made a mistake. Even people like Peter Radcliffe, they're so far down. They've drunk so much Kool-Aid, they'll never change their minds regarding Liberals. I don't even know how he identifies. How does Peter Radcliffe identify? Married once, still to my beautiful patient wife, best friend, father of a beautiful doctor. Fine. But people like Ratcliffe just don't get it. Poilievre complaining about the current self-defense law that the Harper government passed and he voted for it. Poilievre complaining about temporary reform. It's the same thing as before. We need to adapt. This law has to change. We see these stories pop every once in a while of somebody, defending themselves in their home and then getting arrested for doing it. Finally, somebody speaking out against it. Danielle Smith did as well. And so did Doug Ford in Ontario. School boards will now require proof that a kid was female at birth if someone suspects and reports that child is T. Students, if you're asked what was your gender at birth, say, I don't remember. No one needs to answer that question. Thomas Lukaszuk, the egotist, narcissist guy who's part of this Forever Canadian program. This guy is not a conservative. He is a progressive. He supported liberals in the province. I think it's going to be quite obvious when you look at somebody that they're a boy or a girl. The argument here is we shouldn't have boys playing on girls' teams and vice versa. It never happens the other way. What this T thing is all about, folk, this is a social contagion. This never happened 10 years ago. What the hell's going on here? Boys should not be playing on girls' teams, period. And what do we know about Thomas Lukaszuk? He's part of this organization. Tells you all you need to know about him. No matter what Carney does, the I told you so gang is going to say it was their idea first. The difference is Carney is making well thought out decisions based on logic and solid business sense, not on knee jerk, everything is broken, look at me slop. I've said here before, and I did a video the other day, when it came to the EV mandate, thank you, Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative Party, and others who pointed out that was bad policy. If it wasn't for Pierre Poilievre, that never would have happened. If it wasn't for Pierre Poilievre, you'd still have the consumer carbon tax going right now. That was his idea. If it wasn't for Pierre Poilievre, we wouldn't have a housing plan from Carney. Unfortunately, Poilievre's plan is better than Carney's. I'm saying unfortunately because the Liberals got in. Carney's plan is big government and throwing money at it. That's what he's going to do with the economic ruin that is coming. Throwing $5 billion at failing businesses because they're failing because of the Liberals. And it was the everything is broken and Canada is broken that has caused the Liberals to act on these things because of Pierre Poilievre. We're so fortunate to have Mark Carney as our Prime Minister. I'm not going to go on much farther and much longer. The message isn't getting through. There are the non-keyboard warriors at home that are changing their minds, that are showing some voter regret, I'm sure. But there's so much of this right now. I don't know about the rest of you, but my elbows are still up. And here's the final one we'll look at. Dear Hyundai, can always move up to Canada. We'd love to build your cars here. Full disclosure, we do have ice in the winter. It might make it hard to get around, but our ice don't arrest people, just saying. And it's referring to South Korea mounts swift response to deal with raid on U.S. Hyundai plant. Do you know what's happening here? In this situation, Hyundai had apparently hundreds of illegals working in their plant in the United States of America. That's illegal. If you're a Canadian citizen, go down to the United States and take a job. You will be thrown out of the country immediately. But again, self-righteous, smug Canadians thinking Canada is a better place because we'd allow these people to take Canadian jobs. We're doing it right now. And this is not the logical thing to do. In the past, there would be unity on this issue. Even Mark Carney believed in fewer temporary foreign workers in this country about 10 years ago. And now he's completely changed his mind because this has become an ideological issue. The Conservatives want to get rid of these people. They're a bunch of racist hicks, rednecks. We want them to stay just because the Conservatives want them to leave. These people need to be removed from the United States of America if they're working illegally at a Hyundai plant. And I just want to tell you, buddy, Hyundai's not moving to Canada. How long before the automotive industry moves to the United States? We saw Crown Royal move out of Canada because it's a business decision. I don't know how much that had to do with Donald Trump's tariffs. But we're not getting a deal right now on tariffs. Trump may be just waiting out Canada. And how long before the automotive industry disappears from Ontario? How long? It might not be very far from happening. And this is what we're getting online right now. This is the temperature of the left right now online. They're not getting the message. Canada is broken. Managed decline. Canada's demise will result in Alberta's rise. Things are pretty grim right now. Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Didn't want to go on too long. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. I tip my big blue mug to you. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you in the next one.